Okay, here I'm going to do my first video of a junk journal, what's on the internet known as a junk journal. I call my journals memory journals because I do them a little differently. I don't do a lot of the vintage, and I do a lot of making my own stuff. I don't use a lot of junk, as people call junk. Mine's not a lot of tea stain papers and all. Mine's just a little different, so I call mine a memory junk journal. It's a little different. Today I'm going to show you my rose garden. This was made out of an altered book of the Reader's condensed version of a Reader's Digest. I used a heavy cardstock printed piece on the front. And this is a cloth binding that I use on the back to make them real neat. And of course, I paint the cloth with a metallic paint. I used a lot of my metallics are this brand here. I like this one. It's been my favorite so far. So that's the metallic paint I use. Okay, on the side, I make my dangle by clipping 2 holes on the end of the binding and putting in a lobster claw. And this was a key ring that I made into a dangle for my book with a pretty red slipper on it. A red or deep burgundy tassel that I bought from one of the local quilting shops or fabric shops. And then some wooden keys that I've painted. Okay, on the front of my journal to make my closures, I use grommets. My husband bought me a little grommet press, and I really love it. And besides the grommets, you can add buttons to this with a wire behind it, so that when you do the front, when you put your paper on the inside, you can cover the wire, and that way you can have a button on the front. There's a lot of ways you can use the grommets to make closures for your books. I used burgundy thin ribbon for my tie, to make my tie out of. And I use, on the inside covers of my books, I use printed heavy cardstock, the 12 by 12 sheets cut to the size I need them in my book. And then I always make a tag at the front so somebody can write their name or put a picture or something so they can make claims to the journal. On the inside of this particular one, I kept the front page of my altered book because I liked the printed picture that was there. I stamped it with my stamp that says this book belongs to. All my journals have this in it. And then I have a stamp that says the story begins. So this is the beginning of the memory journal. Or my memory journals will have a lot of picture frames in it. And in these frames, I leave a flap up on the journal page so that the person can put one of the newer type small photos in it. Or you can just reprint photos on your computer to a smaller version to slide inside here. And there's plenty of room in these journals to do writing. Also in my journals, I use the altered pages, so most of my journal pages have this opening for a pocket on just about every page. Not every page, but just about every page in my journals have this. I also stitch a lot of my pages, and the way I stitch my pages is I cut this, the paper the size of the journal page, and on my machine I stitch all my pages to start with. Every page that I'm going to use in the book, I do the theme color, and I do my stitching prior and then glue it down. So my book, they're not stitched in the book, but they are stitched off the book and then glued onto the pages, onto the altered pages. I do a lot of journaling pages with repositional glue, which is an Elmer's glue that I buy. That's super strong. The repositional one, this one right here. Let it focus. It's too close to focus. Anyway, it's repositionable. That means that a person can take this off, tear these off easily if they want to use them outside the book. But those are there, and then they can be glued down. If the person that likes the book or gets the book, receives the book, wants to glue these down, they can. But that's just an option I leave available to people. I use a lot of side pockets sewed in with lace. Again, I do this on the machine and then attach it to the book. I do a lot of digital art off the computer. I like to do the digital printing. I like digital scrapbooking, so I like to do the digital memory book journals. So my cards, same thing. I use this particular card was an old green no, this one I actually cut out of 67-pound stocking glue, 2 pieces together. One printed, and then I stamped the back and put a little chain on it. This is some beads that I have for Christmas, and I just made it into a pretend chain. So it is plastic, but it's really a cute little chain. And most of my cards are memory journal cards, or what I call memory cards. They tuck into these little pockets. These pockets also are inside the book. Like I say, just about this page doesn't, but just about every page has the inside pocket so that you can actually stuff in there, especially if you're just saving things that you want to later put in your book. You can stuff it in your pockets and then do it later. But it's full of frames for pictures, just little odds and ends, little tags for beauty, and some kind of, sometimes there's word art posted in them. Lots and lots of pages to write things on. Lots of little tuck spots and little cards that I make. This is one of my little journal cards I make. And then the frame here, again, is not completely glued down. Excuse me, get in front of it too much. It's not completely glued down, so you can glue it down after you put your photo in it. And then you got doilies that I print little verses on sometimes, and the opening, the middle of it's left so that you can write or post a picture in it. Side pockets that have stitching done to them. And larger cards like this I buy at Dollar Tree and Ollie's. These are the children's flashcards. They make awesome cards, and it really saves me on paper because they're so heavy. I don't have to use up the heavy paper that I have to buy. So these cards are great for making your journaling cards on. And they come in different sizes, so that's good. And more frames and more tuck spots. I have a lot of tuck spots throughout all of my journals, where you can just tuck pieces of paper with writing on it, or you can just write something actually on the page here concerning the photo space that's available. There's journaling pages like this attached throughout. This is a digital print envelope that I bought online, and a digital print card. Of course, like I say, pockets everywhere inside. Another digital print flip up. This is just a flip up where you can actually journal something under here, put a photo. This is another tuck spot with a little journaling card attached. Another envelope with a journaling card. Again, this is the ones that I buy that are the flashcards, and I remake them. Of course, a lot of my art is digital art that I purchase online. My Memories is one of my main ones that I purchase from. I got a lot of frames, a lot of pockets. This is the only piece of real junk that I have in this one. This was given to me by one of my tenants. I run a motel, and they gave me 2 or 3 pads of different stationery, and I love cats, so this is a nice stationery. I left some pages blank, and I do this in all of my books to give the person who gets this book a chance to do some of the journaling themselves. And I teach classes also, so if somebody gets this book and then they want to come to a class, they can bring their book with them, and we teach them other things to put in their book with the journaling classes. But like I say, a lot of empty pages to do what you want to do with. All of them stitched, though, and most of them have pockets. A lot of little tuck spots like this from digital art and little accessories. Going on through the book, you see more tucks and more envelopes that you can stash things in, and more frames. More art. Another tag. This is another digital print tag for journaling. And then kind of a corner pocket, side pocket. It's more of a tuck. It's really a tuck pocket. It's kind of both. This is another envelope pocket put in with a digital print card. And this is one of my altered paper clips that I make. Okay. I learned these recently, and I love it. We just did in one of the groups I'm in, we just did a swap on these, and I really love these tags. These are so cute to me. This particular envelope, I inserted in the center of the book. I glued it in here, so it just kind of flips on its own. So there's plenty of place to journal on that. Plus, there's a journaling card inside. I love these type pockets, too. These are fun to me. I really like them. I'll be using them very frequently in my books. All right, clip staying. And then we have just what I call my lace. I call this my paper lace. I love it. It's a tuck with a tucked journaling card inside. And another frame with another small envelope. This is another one of those envelopes pockets with some designs on. This is one of my ATCs. I love making ATCs and I love swapping them. So if anybody out there swaps, take my address down and off my bottom of my videos. Look at the bottom of my videos and you'll see my addresses and swap with me. I love to swap out cards. Another thumb tag, more stationery spot, another envelope for tucking stuff into. So that is what you will find in most of my journals. But this one again is the Rose Garden. And that was my journal for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoy journaling as much as I do. And I hope you like my new twist on the junk journal. Mine is called a memory journal. Thanks for watching.